And Bonds hits right high. It's a deep. It is out of here. This is caught. Diggs. Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable. Bryant for the win. Bang. Watch out. He's got getting away from the top speed. Michael Short.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SGN video where it's all sim all the time. Today's video we are bringing you my Madden 25 franchise rebuild series. This is going to be episode 1, and we are rebuilding the New Orleans Saints, which is, in my opinion, the most difficult team to rebuild in Madden 25, and it almost feels impossible. And so we're going to go along on this journey, and I hope you guys come along with me. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I want to be more committed to rebuild series and videos this year, and I'm going to switch it up. In the past, I've just done gameplay. Just every single game was considered a series, but a series episode. But this time around, we're gonna go more in depth. And so episode 1 is going to be basically showing you guys the roster, the challenges we're facing. We're going to try to make some trades to set ourselves up for the future. We have everything set up. We rebuilded our team. We're going to talk about that. We're just going to dive in. There's not going to be any gameplay in this episode. This is just going to be introduction to our team, the challenges we're going to be facing in the next year and the years to come, and how we're going to try to go about and overcome those. So thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, man, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are curious. Everything you see here is using my settings. We got my XP sliders, my franchise settings, my gameplay sliders. I'm going to be utilizing the draft class simulator as well when we get to that part of the video. Probably episode 2, and we're also going to be using the random event generator. So you're definitely going to want to make sure, if you aren't subscribed, to just subscribe to the channel and check out all those things I have for Madden 25, as we're going to be using them in this right now, right here. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive into why I think the New Orleans Saints are going to be almost impossible to rebuild. Now, if you saw my top 5 teams to rebuild, hardest teams to rebuild in Madden 25, you know that I listed them as my number 1, and I did go a little bit in depth as to why. But we're going to not only go and take a look at it a little bit more, but we're also going to see if we can't come up with some ideas of how we can alleviate the pain a little bit of the challenges we're going to face with cap room. But first, I do want you guys to know we did go ahead and we rebuilt the stadium. We went with a hybrid stadium. The Saints' current stadium was 49 years old. We needed something new, and I went with a hybrid stadium, keeping them in New Orleans. But we just got a new, fresh, new stadium, new vibes. Hopefully bring excitement to the fans, because it could be a rough couple years. So that being said, we can go ahead and look at our team salaries, and you can see where the issue lies. Now you can see that we currently do have $13.5 million in cap space currently right now. But the problem, what happens is we go over here to the quarterback, is Derek Carr has a huge cap jump. So he's currently making 12.7. That jumps to $51.5 million next year. You can just look and see, if we only have 13.4 million in cap space now, and he jumps up by dang near $40 million, you can see the problem. But it's not just him. We'll go back to all positions here, and we'll scroll over to the 2025 cap hit. You can see that Marshawn Lattimore, our all-world corner, he jumps up by $15 million, $16 million. You can look at our center, our right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk. He jumps up from $12 million to $30 million, right? Alvin Kamara, Alvin, this is his this is his last year in New Orleans, right? We're going to play with him this year, and then he's going to be gone. We're going to have to dump him for 2025, but we can play with him this year, but we can't afford a $30 million cap hit. And I would suspect that's what's going to happen in real life too. You're not going to pay a running back who's going to be $30 million. You're just not. Cam Jordan is another one. He's 35, so there's a chance he retires. But considering he's an 87 overall, I don't know if he will. But he jumps up $8 million. All right, we're not even going to edit that out. That's just, you know, part of recording videos. You can see here, and Taysom Hill, he's going to be gone. We're getting rid of him. We can't afford that either. Eric McCoy jumps up. So you can see we have a lot of players with huge cap hits that are going to jump our cap space up significantly. But outside of that, we have another problem. Not only do we have all these players that have these huge cap hits, but when you go through here, you look at Chase Young. He was on a 1-year prove-it deal, $3.5 million. He's going to be a free agent. We don't have the cap space to re-sign him this year. We don't. We don't want to lose Chase Young. We want to keep Chase Young and keep him with Carl Granderson, right? Because we know Cam Jordan's got a year or two left. So that's where that's going to be a challenge too. Not only that, Paulson Adebo, his rookie contract's over. And he's going to be a free agent. And he's our second best corner. So two of our better defensive players are going to be free agents. And we have absolutely no way to sign them because not only do we not have any cap space, we have to cut a ton of cap space. And I don't know how the Saints are going to do this in real life, but the way I'm looking at it is we do have a little bit, we have $13 million in cap space now. There's a $32 million penalty if we trade Derek Carr. But a $32 million penalty is a hell of a lot better than $51 million. And so the way I'm looking at it is we're going to have to trade Derek Carr. He's not going to be on our team this year. And that's the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and try to trade away Derek Carr. And I've been thinking of where I would like to send him, what makes sense. Where's a team that would make sense for him to go? And we're not going to be in a situation where we can just send Derek Carr and get a cap pick back because he's a massive cap hit. He's not very good. He's 33. He's not rated very good, at least. And so I was thinking, all right, what teams could maybe want to take a chance on him, or where would he maybe fit? And a team that stuck out to me initially is the New York Giants. And you can see their number one team need right there is quarterback. And if we look at Daniel Jones, is a 71 overall. He's got a $47 million cap hit. But let's take a look at his contract. Now, I haven't looked at this yet, so we're just going to see. I want to see if there's any leeway in his contract, and there just really isn't. He would have, his contract is just as bad. So trading Derek Carr and taking back Daniel Jones does not make any sense. But if we could potentially trade Derek Carr, and we're going to go take a look at their roster, in another contract that's going to jump up, and take one of their contracts back, maybe it would make sense. You know what I mean? So let's just see if they have any contracts that we could just go. They need a running back too. That's what's crazy. If they have anything here, and I don't think they do. I was going to look on the defensive line. Anything that's, 10, 12 million that we could just take back. Look at Dexter Lawrence has got a huge penalty. There's just no, and they're not going to trade Thibodeau. There's just not much here we can go get. So we're going to have to try to work a trade for Derek Carr. I don't know what we would even take back. We're probably going to have to throw in a pick or two. But let's go ahead and try to make this trade. He's an upgrade over he's an upgrade over Daniel Jones. Come on here. Where's just manual trade? All right. Derek Carr. We're going to advance, and we're going to go to the Giants. And we're just going to trade finder it right away and see if they have anything from any other team. It doesn't make sense to send him to any of these teams. The Giants, they would give us Darius Slayton. That's interesting. We do need wide receivers. And just so you know, I do have trade difficulty on the hardest setting. The Vikings are interesting too. But they do have J.J. McCarthy. They have a rookie there. You know what I mean? And the Titans seem to be all in on Will Levis. The Raiders, we're not going to send them back to the Raiders. I think that'd be hilarious. And they are a team that could definitely use him, but we're not going to do that. Patriots, no, because I got Drake May. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to send him to any of these teams with young quarterbacks that they would play instead. The Giants make the most sense. And we'll take this Darius Slayton. We'll do that. We're going to take a nasty cap hit, but we got to do it. The next one that I hate that we have to trade him, but we're going to have to trade him, is Cam Jordan. Because I just can't afford to have his, if he doesn't retire, I can't afford it. And the cap hit isn't, I mean, we'll take it all in 1 year. You know what I mean? We'll see if anybody out here wants him. And we're going to do something realistic as far as what we want in return. And let's see if there's anything. Colts, Commanders. They maybe, because they did get rid of a couple of their ends, but they're not going to give up Jeremy Chin. They're not definitely trading Drake London. So that's what I'm saying with the trade logic, what it is. Even though it's at the hardest setting, the Falcons aren't trading Drake London for Cam Jordan. I'm sorry. They're just not. And the Jets aren't going to do that. Packers aren't. That's what's yes, he's an 87 overall, but taking into account he's 35. Why would you trade a 24-year-old 79 over? Madden's trade logic needs a lot of work. They're not going to trade a young, talented offensive tackle either. So that's one thing you guys have to do when you go through and do your trades is, even with the trade difficulty setting as high as it can go, you can still fleece the CPU. And we don't want to do that. I think of these offers here, the one that makes the most sense would be the Colts. Because he's only a 74 overall. So we'll do that. Now let's take a look and see if there's any other players. We'll go back. We got to go back and look at our contract screen. Kamara's going to be gone, but we're not going to trade him till probably the draft is when we would trade him. And so we'll keep him for this year. But now our quarterback at this point is Spencer Rattler. Unless we want to go make a trade for somebody else. As you can see, we have dipped into our cap space a little bit. We still have some though. And I'm very curious if I want to start Spencer Rattler, or we could maybe go make a trade for a lower rated quarterback, but that's better than him, and let him sit for a year. Just going through here looking. Darius Slayton was definitely a nice little trade for us because he falls off the books anyway. So that's a great trade for us for 1 year, and we get that extra cap space back. We need to trade Taysom Hill. That is who we need to absolutely trade right now, and we'll see if anybody out here there's nobody that wants him. This is where we're gonna have to package him up with somebody. But who? We did just get a cornerback in this trade. We have Kool-Aid McKinstry's superstar dev, or not superstar, but a hidden dev trade, excuse me. We could probably do Alontae Taylor. Because we do have Brents. The good thing is if we can't retain Paulson Adebo, who I really want to retain, we still have Kool-Aid McKinstry and Julius Brents at decent dev traits. So we're going to go ahead and add Alontae Taylor and see if that moves the needle. All right, we have an offer. One offer. And it's the Chargers. And we're going to take it. We're going to take it. It's the only offer out there, but we're going to take it. And we did free up a little cap space, but we're not really worried about cap space right now. Of course, we're worried about cap space for our future. And hopefully, we're freeing up some guys that are going to have some big cap jumps. And we're going to see if we can't find anybody else, any depth or any other position where we're like, hey, considering our depth or what we need, we're going to have to just take a cut there. So we're not going to get rid of our good center. We're going to have to eat that cap jump. We're not trading him. We're not going to... He's only 74 overall. He's a decent cap jump there too. But it's not worth it considering his penalty. It's just not worth it. We're not trading him either. God, that's so much money. He's 30 overall. Or he's, 30 years old for Nice. But it's, again, we need to have a strong running game. We're not going to have a very good quarterback right now. We will move over Chase Young or Carl Granderson to play on the left end, so we're not really worried about that. The big thing is we need money to try to... We want to re-sign Chase Young. We absolutely need to re-sign Chase Young. That's a big focus here, and we're not going to have enough money. Well, our cap space right now, we don't have enough money to re-sign him or Paulson Adebo in season. We're going to have to try to free up cap space and re-sign him in free agency because there's no player, there's nobody that we can, our defensive tackle's just weak right now. There's just no player that we can get rid of that would free us up cap space this year to give us enough money to re-sign him for what he's going to want. Demario Davis, this is one that he's 35 years old. He's $9 million this year and $12 million next year. He has a 13, that's if we release him. We're not going to pay that penalty. But I'm thinking, I love Demario Davis, and I want to have him on our team patrolling the fields. But at the same time, he's so old, and we need the cap space. I'm really thinking about we might have to just dump him. And if we can dump him and get the cap space to sign Chase Young, that's something we might be willing to do. Cornerback, we're sitting good. We're not going to trade Marshawn Lattimore. He's 28, so he's good. He signed through when he's 30, and then he's going to fall off. I think that's a good contract to have a great corner like that. I would really like to get the money to retain Paulson Adebo, but I don't know. The other option I want to look at is the Honey Badger. Man, he's 32, and he's going to bump up. That's still not that bad of money for how good he is. It's just, is he going to be a cap casualty, right? And this might be a player I decide on later. He might be like an off-season trade. And we know we need help at the strong safety spot. We don't have anything there. So I think our only other option to make a trade would be Demario Davis. And I just am curious what we get for him. We're going to see what people would offer. And again, I got to take his age into consideration. The Browns aren't going to give Greg Newsome 85 overall, 24 years old. You guys, don't fleece the CPU. Don't fleece the CPU. And the Bills aren't going to give up an 86 overall corner. They're just not. Fleecing this, I hate the fleecing. Even the trade difficulty where it's at. They're not going to give Rashee Rice either. So this would make sense. This would make sense. It gives us a young defensive tackle that we need, much smaller cap hit, and it gives the Cowboys, who are in win now mode, a huge upgrade at the linebacker position. We're going to take a look and see other options, but that would make a lot of sense. And we get a 5th round pick out of it. Considering it's mostly a cap dump, that's okay. Yeah, they're not trading us Kyle Pitts. They're not. I would love Isaiah Simmons, but they're not going to trade us Isaiah Simmons. And that'd be unrealistic. Like, I would love to have Isaiah Simmons. Not really seeing anything else. They're not. We don't need a tight end. We don't need another wide receiver. The only one that makes sense right there, you don't trade offensive linemen. You just don't do it like that. This one would be, again, I like the Cowboys trade better. So we're just going to keep moving through. This one only because he's 29 years old. But I would rather, oh man, we don't have any depth at the middle linebacker position. And we run a 4-3. We have no depth at the middle linebacker position. So if we trade him, we have to go find somebody. We have to find somebody. But I think this... if we trade him, we're going to trade some of our defensive tackles that we have. Guys, I don't know if I want to pull a trigger on Demario Davis. I just don't know if I want to pull the trigger on it. I just don't... We have no other option there. And we already need to go trade for a quarterback. We don't have any... I mean, it's him or the Honey Badger. You know what I mean? And we don't have any backup there either. I'd rather have my back end. I think we're going to hold off on Demario Davis. And we're going to see if there's any players that don't have any penalties. Or who has the most savings. Oh, snap. We could just release Darius Slayton. We literally could have just traded for him, released him, and then I think we'd have $15 million to re-sign Chase Young. Excuse me. But there's not really many options here for savings without penalties, right? Not of any lower rated players, or anyway. Everything else hurts us, you know? So I think for now, that's the main thing we're going to do as far as trading our players. But the Darius Slayton one is definitely interesting. What I'll do is when it comes time to re-sign Chase Young, we will see what he wants. And if we have to, at that point, free up some money, then we can do it. Now, this is where we can look for a quarterback. Andy Dalton is out there. He's on the trade block. And after that, it's just Jacoby Brissett. Not many other guys are on the actual trade block. And this is where we could go through and look for a quarterback to trade for. And I had an idea from when I played the beta. But we're going to take a look and see. So my idea when we played the beta, I'll show you guys right now who I had an idea for, because I don't think I just want to start Spencer Rattler right off rip. I think I kind of want to let him sit and progress a little bit. But my idea, and we'll scroll through teams and see if there's any options here, but I had the idea of trading for Kenny Pickett. That was the idea that I had in the beta, because I feel like I could get him for not much. But we'll go through and look at the teams and see if there's anyone else that we think as a team that's sitting there on our roster that we could make a trade for. Again, Spencer Rattler's a 67, so I'm not going to trade for anybody. You know, Jameis Winston, he was just with New Orleans. It would kind of be stupid to trade for him when they let him go. So he was one, but because of that aspect of it, I'm not going to do it. He was just there. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for any backup quarterback that is going to be an upgrade over they are doing Carson Wentz dirty, man. Absolutely dirty. That's horrible, man. He's not that bad. So there's Joe Flacco. It's a good option. Can't move at all, but it's a good option. I don't know if they would do it with injuries with Anthony Richardson. Trey Lance. They have Trey Lance rated higher than Carson Wentz. What? Carson Wentz was runner-up for MVP. He had a great year with the Indianapolis Colts. Struggled with Washington, but he was injured. And then hasn't played much since. But he's still played more than Trey Lance. Yep, there's Kenny Pickett, who is my one. Obviously, they're not going to trade their rookie there. We're not trading for Daniel Jones. They just, yeah. I don't want Mac Jones is one, but there's just not a lot of Andy Dalton. So we're looking at Andy Dalton and Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett are the main. Jacoby Brissett. There's one. Wow, they're doing Jimmy Garoppolo dirty too. I don't think it should be that low. But I do think we need to have a veteran quarterback. They're obviously not going to trade either of those guys. And he's hurt, so they're not going to trade Sam Darnold. And that's it. That's our options, you guys. So man. I still think the Eagles and Kenny Pickett makes the most sense. But I don't know. His tag is quarterback of the future when they have a franchise quarterback sitting there. Kenny Pickett seems like a good option, but he's only got 87 throw power. We know that Flacco's going to have... He's only got 89. I'm surprised about that. And then what's Andy Dalton? Where's Panthers? 87. Interesting. Andy Dalton has 75 speed, which does give him some mobility. I just want to see the difference between the other two, just for scrambling purposes. 81 speed for Kenny Pickett, and Joe Flacco's got to be like a... Oh, he's got 73 speed? Okay. Wouldn't think they gave that to him. I don't know, man. His tag is mentor. I like that. I'm curious. I think it's probably got to be Andy Dalton. I think. There's nothing that we could offer for him. He's $5 million cap hit. Let's see what we could offer them. Well, their needs are Why would it need to be a quarterback? They have Bryce Young, tight end, and they have wide receiver as a need. So what if we just flipped Darius Slayton for Andy Dalton? This team will put the other team over their salary cap if accepted. Wow. Oh, their cap space is tough situation right now. So I think Andy Dalton is not going to be able to... Ooh, defensive tackle. Do we have a... We do have quite a few defensive tackles. Let's just see. Star dev trait. Nothing. He's 22. Let's just see. I doubt it, but let's just see. Yeah, not even going to come close. So we're going to move on. we're not going to trade for Andy Dalton, so I think at this point we would go to the Eagles and trade for Kenny Pickett. He's a star. Why is Kenny Pickett a star dev trait? So, if you, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. We'll trade for Joe Flacco. All right, so it's just some picks. And we can give them future picks, 26 4th round, 26 5th round, and a 27 7th round. That doesn't jeopardize our picks for next year, which is important, because we're going to need all the picks we can get to fill some of the roster positions out. So we're going to go ahead. We got to do it. We're going to accept this offer to bring Joe Flacco in to the fold. And that's going to be our roster for now. Like I said, we are going to look at making some more moves throughout the season. We're going to monitor the Demario Davis situation. We're going to monitor a few other players and their situation. We know Alvin Kamara, this is his last year. We got Jamal Williams as backup, which is good. But yeah, this is gonna be tough, you guys. I hope you guys are starting to see how tough this is gonna be. This is not easy, man, and that's what I was saying. This is gonna be an absolute challenge. We'll put Carl Granderson over here. We're still gonna have a pretty formidable front four with the departure of Cam Jordan. We're running this 4-3, and with Demario Davis, Rome in the middle will still be pretty solid there. We're still going to have a pretty solid secondary, but I definitely have a feeling we're going to have to move on from Demario Davis just to get a little bit of cap space. I don't want to. And we're going to need to try to upgrade our strong safety position. We don't have... He's one. Let's just make him the starter. 1-year player. We don't have much going on here, y'all. But I think we need to put Shaheed as our kick and punt return. With that kind of speed, yeah. This is what's wrong with your rotation. So anyway, we'll figure this out later. We're not going to keep this in the video. So anyway, that's some of the first trades that we did. So we rebuilt our stadium. We made a couple trades for our future as far as where we're looking. We have $10 million in cap space. We're going to have to figure out... I don't know, y'all. This is gonna be a challenge for sure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna end the video, and I'm gonna pull up the random event generator. I'm not gonna be able to include it in the side screen of it on this video because of how I'm recording, but I will tell it to you. We're going to play it in real time. And we'll see what we get here. So remember, the random event generator isn't necessarily for my team. It could be for any team. And we're going to start off here, and we're going to spin the wheel to see what team gets popped up for a random event. And it's going to be the New York Giants. And I think it's going to be more fun to do then we're going to do what position it is, and then I'll figure out what it is after that. So very important that you're in an offline franchise if you want to be able to do this, so you can take control of coaches and stuff like that. So their result is their wide receiver number 2. So their number 2 wide receiver on their depth chart. And what are they going to be doing? Oh, they almost had a Superstar Dev update, but it switched to suspension for 8 games. So we are gonna go over to the Giants. And because we can't assign players injuries like you can in 2K, which makes things a little bit more challenging. So Wan'Dale Robinson, man, you just got suspended for 8 games. And that includes, I'm trying to think, that's just regular season games. So we won't actually do this. He gets to play the preseason. But we can't edit his health, I don't believe. We're going to just double check here. So the way that we're going to do this, since we can't edit health, is we're going to assign him a different position, but not one that gets him cut, basically. So Wan'Dale Robinson is going to get, we're going to put him to a different position after the preseason, so he serves his 8-game suspension. We're not going to edit him now. We'll let him play preseason where he's at. But that's how we'll do that. And then, of course, every preseason we're going to do a spin on the random event generator. So that stinks for the Giants. Maybe they're going to want to trade for Darius Slayton back again. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and end the video with this one, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Just look into how we're going to be building the Saints. And then the next video, I think we'll just do the preseason all at once. I'm not going to play any gameplay in the preseason. So we'll just kind of go through. We'll have random event generators. We'll have our draft class strength generator in there. And maybe we'll see about potentially any other roster moves, free agent signings, things like that. So that'll be episode number 2. And then episode number 3, we'll get into the gameplay. So hopefully you guys like this format. If you don't like this format, you just want me to just play the games, and that's what you consider an episode, let me know of that too, and we'll go that route as well. Just want to try something different. So anyway, guys, thank you for checking out the video. Stay tuned to the next one. Peace.